Hi, it's Miss Gronberg here, and today I just want to look through The Echoing Green by William Blake and talk about a few features of that poem and look at who is William Blake and just a few fun facts, okay? So let's start by looking at the poem and at the rhymes. So I'm hoping you've done this already. You've looked at the rhymes and you look at each line and then circle the last word in each line, and that's the word we're going to focus on to see if they rhyme. So we found arise rhymes with sky, so that's an A. But ring does not rhyme with sky, so then that will be a B. But ring and spring rhyme, so we have BB. Thrush does not rhyme with arise or ring, so now we need a new letter, which will be C. Thrush and bush, and not a perfect rhyme, but you know what? You can say with the pronunciation, thrush, bush, bush, so that they rhyme. So they rhyme. There you go, CC. So anyways, you can see there's a pattern. And so this would be called a rhyming couplet. So each of these, okay? So the A's, the B's with the C's, those are rhyming couplets. That means we have the words that rhyme. There's two of them that rhyme. And when you read one line, okay, and you go to the next, you need the next line to finish off the thought. So the sun does arise. It's not a full thought yet. And make happy the skies. All right, so that's like a personification here, because skies aren't actually happy. They're giving the skies human quality of feeling happy. But it's to symbolize like how everyone, like it's a sunny day, the children are happy. So it's an interesting use of personification, which I quite like. Anyways, rhyming couplets. And then let's look at the rhythm. So we have, this poem is written in iambic pentameter, and that gives our poem a natural rhythm to it. Okay, so with iambic pentameters, we typically have 10 syllables, okay, per those couplets. So if I combined the two syllable, like this line and that line together, there should be 10 or close to it. So most poems with 10 syllables, they're probably like per line, then they're probably iambic pentameters. So we have the sun does arise, that's 5, and make happy the sky, so that's 6. 5 plus 6 equals 11, pretty close to 10. Okay. The merry bells ring, 2, welcome the spring, 5 and 5 will make 10. So we're following that iambic pentameter scheme of 10 syllables, okay, per rhyming couplets. So it gives it that childlike feel. So you have to think, do you think a child sang this or an adult? Well, we know William Blake wrote the poem. He's an adult when he wrote it, but it's meant to come from a child, kind of, it sounds like it's coming from a child. So he gave the language so it's not too challenging, so like maybe a child could have said it, and also the rhythm of it sounds childlike. So this sort of writing poetry mimics the closest to natural speech. Now, let me see. I'm just going to go back. Oops. Okay. I just want to share a couple things now about the songs of innocence and songs of experience, which is where this poem comes from. It comes from the songs of innocence, which is important to note. Okay. So this is where it's more childlike rather than from songs of experience. And these songs, many believe, are actually meant to be sung. Not, I mean, that shouldn't be surprising because it has songs in the title. And it's a funny thing for me though, because I didn't even think about it, like it's meant to be sung, but it makes sense. And if you listen to the song, it sounds beautiful as a song. I love that song. So yeah, so these songs of innocence, was first published a long time ago in 1789. Okay, so there are 19 poems and artwork that go along with it, made by William Blake. And most of these poems show happy and innocent days. Okay, I think there's 2 that aren't, but yeah, most of them are happy and poems. And then poems from both books have been set to music by many composers now, and some believe that these poems were meant to be sung. I said that to you already. Sorry, I'll keep going. Now let me tell you a little bit about William Blake. So William Blake was an English poet and a painter and a printmaker. And he actually was not popular during his lifetime. It was after he passed away, his works became known and popular. And Yeah, and now, I mean, now many, many years later, we're still listening and enjoying and appreciating his fine work that he created while he was alive. And he came from the Romantic era, which was a period of time where they focus on individualism. So that just means the that individual or the person's more important than like the collective whole. So it's just a way of thinking that that period represents. And also, there's a huge focus on emotions. Now, I wonder, what do you think it is like now? Would you say it's individualistic? Would you say we focus more on emotions than like maybe more than a rational thought? I don't know. But something to think about, and it can be different depending on where you are in the world too. Okay, so it can be different, but anyways, the romantic period is a time, is a actually one that I really enjoyed studying about when I was in school. So in university, a lot of the classes I took was during the romantic. A lot of the authors were from the romantic period. I don't know why, but I just really appreciated the works that came out during that time, the poetry, the novels, okay, all that great stuff there. So, Echoing Green. Okay, so just a little bit more about the poem, but you figured it out. You did a great job looking at it, reading through it again and again and again. And I don't think I'm going to say anything new about it. So we start with the first stanza, and yeah, so it's just like these happy time, children playing outside. We see the sun rise. So we start with the beginning of the day, and then the second stanza, the old man reminiscing about his youth. So I think kind of maybe midday, and then we end with the final stanza, and then the sun's going down and children are going to bed. So it shows from a full day. So the poem takes place within a day. There could be, or there is, a greater theme than that, but I'm not going to say, because I'd like it to be something that you discover or ponder, whether there could be more to the poem than what is there. So you might see a metaphor, perhaps, for the rising, for the day. So that's maybe a hint for you to think about. So how could the day be a metaphor for something else? It's not said, and that's the thing about poetry. But at the same time, you don't need to know that at this point. It's something, if you like, a challenge to think about. What I do want, and the most important thing for me, is just that you appreciate the poem, you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, that's okay, because it's totally personal taste at the same time. I think it's exposure to great poetry and great literature, but also we all have our own personal taste. So this is a poem that I personally love, and I wanted to share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. That is all for now. Bye, friends.